What's going on, my Century Galaxy? It's the Central Man here, so back again with another classic WWE pay-per-view review. So this time I'm going to review Backlash 2001 at the Allstate Arena in Chicago, Illinois on the 29th of April 2001. The attendance for the show was 15,592. The attendance for the show was 375,000 pay-per-view buys. A downgrade than the previous year's Backlash show. That show received about 650,000 pay-per-view buys. The main event of that show was Triple H versus The Rock for the WWF title, and also there was the return of Stone Cold Steve Austin on that show. And the previous year, WWF in 2000 was the best year in the Attitude Era in a financial standpoint. Anyway, the commentators for the show are Jim Ross and Paul Heyman, and this was Paul Heyman's second pay-per-view appearance for the company. His first one was at WrestleMania 17. Go and check it out because I covered WrestleMania 17 last month. Anyway, the first match to kick off the show, we got a six-man tag team match. We got the Dudleys, that is Bubba Ray, Devon, and Spike Dudley, taking on the team of X Factor, that is X-Pac, Just Incredible, and Albert. I might be wrong about this. I think this was Just Incredible's first pay-per-view appearance for the company because he came from ECW. At this moment in time, ECW was bankrupt. Anyway, a fun six-man tag team match. In the end, X Factor got the victory over the Dudleys. X-Pac and Incredible hit the, I think it was a double super kick onto Bubba Ray for the victory. They were about to, in the end, trying to put Bubba Ray through a table after this, but Devon and Spike came to the rescue. The Dudleys got the heat back. They hit the 3D onto X-Pac, put him through a table in the process. X-Pac ended up leaving the company. He was never part of the alliance. He came back in 2002. That WWE's version of the NWO. Another story for another time. Anyway, so the next match, this is a hardcore match for the hardcore title. Rhino, the champion, defended the belt against Raven. I'm guessing this was Rhino's first pay-per-view appearance because he also came from ECW. He entered the WWF as I think it was the last television champion and also the last original ECW world champion before the company was bankrupt. Anyway, a fun match. I like this match. It's still in the middle of the 24/7 rule in the Attitude Era in the WWF in the start of the 2000s. Anyway, compared to what they're doing right now, then and now they're just like beating it to death. Anyway, they didn't play a massive part in those two hardcore title matches at Mania 17 and also in this match. It's just basically no outside interference. It's just like a fun hardcore match. Anyway, like this match. So it was a fun hardcore match. Rhino and Raven hit each other with stop signs, and also there is a battle between the former ECW World Champions, and also Raven was also a former ECW World Champion. Anyway, they hit each other with signs, of the road signs. There was one moment in the match. Raven grabbed like a shopping trolley. He's about to hit Raven with the shopping trolley, and Raven kind of hit Rhino in the face with a trash can, and the trolley kind of fell in his face. Rhino trying to hit Raven with the goal, and Raven got away. Rhino went through the shopping trolley. In the end, he managed to hit the goal onto Raven to win this match. He was about to hit Rhino with I think it was a piece of I think it was a sink he's trying to hit Rhino with. So yeah, Rhino Gore Raven win this match and retain the hardcore title. I don't know how long off his reign is because at this moment of time, still in the middle of the 24/7 rule. The title ended up being retired 1 year later in 2002. The final champion was RVD. Anyway, the next match, we got the Duchess of Queensberry match. We got Chris Jericho taking on William Regal. This is a rematch from WrestleMania 17. Jericho at this moment of time is not the Intercontinental Champion. He dropped the title to Triple H. I'll get to the main event later on in this review. The Duchess of Queensberry. Holy shit. I don't know if that was a man or a woman, actor or an actress. That person will enter this match in this arena. Came up with a phoniest British accent. Her accent kind of gave out. You know, I think it was an American actress or an actor. You know, can't even come up a good proper British accent, a posh British accent. It's supposed to be a posh accent, but instead her accent kind of gave away. You know, it's just what it is. I don't want to get into it. You know, they're copying what WCW did. You know, because in the previous year they did the same match. It was at New Blood Rising between Lance Storm and Mike Awesome. And then they did early that year in 2001. It was that Super Bowl revenge between Scott Steiner and Kevin Nash for the WCW World Title. You got Ric Flair at the time was the WCW kayfabe COO. You know, making up the rules. So basically, there is no rules to explain. So it's very confusing as fuck. The wrestling was fine, but this was the weakest match of the show. So. Here's the confusion part. So Jericho hit Regal with the Lion's moonsault, and then also there's a round system, and then Jericho managed to tap out Regal with the Walls of Jericho, and the Duchess says the match cannot end by a submission. What the hell? And Regal hit Jericho with the scepter, and the match was ended in a DQ, but instead this match is a no DQ match now. It's changing up the rules. It's very confusing. The funny part in this match, you had Jericho was it baseball sliding drop kick Regal. He kind of land his face towards the private parts of the Duchess, and Regal with the facial expressions, I kind of laugh. I compare it to when Jericho pissed in William Regal's tea. You know, Regal has really funny facial expressions, man. Very underrated wrestler, William Regal. In the end, Jericho managed to lock in the Walls of Jericho onto the Duchess. Regal hit Jericho in the back with the chair multiple times, pin him, and won this match. This was to get his heat back because he lost the first match at WrestleMania 17 for the Intercontinental Championship. Sadly, they really did a follow-up, the blow-off to this feud between Jericho and Regal. It's just what it is. Glad they never done this match ever again. It's a flop in my opinion. So that was match number 3. Match number 4, we got a Ultimate Submission match. Another WrestleMania 17 rematch. This is an Ultimate Submission Iron Man match. We got Kurt Angle versus Chris Benoit. This is match of the night. They just got good chemistry between Angle and Benoit, and the stuff what they doing was creative. It's way better than the Iron Man match from 2018 between Seth Rollins versus Dolph Ziggler at Extreme Rules in 2018. Give me a fucking break. Another story for another time. Anyway, so the match was match of the night. Good technical style wrestling. They kind of locked some random submission holds at each other, like, you had Angle making Benoit tapped out with a random knee bar. Benoit randomly tapped out Angle with the cross arm breaker. And they kind of tapped each other with their own submission holds. You had Angle made Benoit tapped out with his own submission hold, the cripple crossface. And then Benoit, minutes later, made Angle tapped out with the ankle lock. It was getting really good. It kind of dragged a little bit, but it's a shame they never did another Iron Man submission match ever again probably in pro wrestling history, in my knowledge. But the match went to overtime. Benoit got the victory. It was 3-3. Benoit made it 4-3. He locked Angle with the cripple crossface to got his win back because he lost the first match of WrestleMania. And it's really funny that they fight, 1 year later, they end up becoming the first WWE Tag Team Champions on the SmackDown brand in the first brand split during the Ruthless Aggression era in 2002. They end up feuding and becoming Tag Team Champions. They fought at Unforgiven in 2002. They had good chemistry, and a bit of another side note, Angle's hair started to falling out in this match. It's funny that in the following year in the feud with Edge, he ended up shaving his head bald. So they went on to move on to their separate ways. Benoit ended up getting injured and came back in 2002. Angle ended up being back into the WWF title picture later on in the year. So I think Angle losing to Benoit was a bit of a blessing in disguise. So that was match number 4. Match number 5, we got a last man standing match. We got Shane McMahon versus The Big Show after Shane defeated Vince at WrestleMania 17 because Shane is the kayfabe owner of WCW. He took that ownership underneath Vince's nose, and he's trying to recruit Big Show into his version of WCW. Because Shane wants to create his version of WCW. We want Big Show to be part of his version of WCW because Big Show was in WCW as the Giants, but instead Big Show turned on Shane and still aligned himself with Vince because he's now a loyal WWF guy. Anyway, so I think the feud at the previous year, in 2000, because this time the roles was mixed, or it'll change actually. Mix change, same thing, because in 2000, in that rivalry in 2000, Shane was the heel, Big Show was the babyface. Now, Big Show was the heel, Shane is the babyface. On the Go Home show to SmackDown, Shane did this wrote a story called Shane and Beanstalk. I kind of laughed when he mentioned the Big Show. He says, fee fi fo fum. I'm 7 foot. I'm 7 foot. I'm dumb. I kind of laughed, Shane is really very underrated. People say he's overrated, but I think he's underrated. He's got that personality and charisma. I kind of pop with that Shane and the Beanstalk shit, man. Anyway, so the match between Shane and the Big Show, it was a fun match. It was a good follow up to Angle and Benoit in that ultimate submission match. It's a shame they never did. I think it's the only WWF match with a submission match. They never did one ever since. I don't want to get into it. Another story for another time. Anyway, back to talking about the last man standing match between Big Show and Shane McMahon. Yeah, it was a fun last man standing match. Nothing special. The final 3 matches on the show, there was a bit overbooked with run-ins. You had Vince got involved in Test for no reason. I don't know. Is Tess feuding with Big Show at the time? I don't think so. Why Tess was there? I don't know. The one portion of this match you had one spot. You had Shane kind of like climbed on the Big Show's back, wearing a mask, and trying to choke him out with chloroform. It's way better than that spot from at WrestleMania 9, the match between John Gonzalez and The Undertaker. That was bad. This was good creative stuff. Your Vince basically stopping Shane getting the victory after trying to choke out the Big Show with chloroform, smother him with chloroform. They recreate this spot. It's the same spot from I think it was a False Count Anywhere match. Because I covered SummerSlam 2000 last year. They recreate the spot. It was a match between Shane McMahon versus Steve Blackman. Shane was on top of the Backlash set. The other side, it was on the side of the Backlash set. And speaking of the Backlash set, I like that set, with the swinging hooks. It's sad because we're not going to see pay-per-view sets ever again in WWE, because it's focused on the Titletron, the same Titletron from Raw and SmackDown, but not pay-per-view sets. You only see ladders if it's Money in the Bank or TLC. Anyway, so Shane did that typical dive off the Backlash set. And Tess helped Shane, picked him up, put him onto this top of this camera crane to win this match. It's a good win for Shane. Yeah, the last man in the match, it was good, but it was fun to watch, but wasn't fantastic. Been better ones over the years. I don't want to get into the Invasion storyline. That's another story for another time. This is in the pre-Invasion era of WWF in 2001. So, and also, we're in the middle of the XFL. Jesus Christ. The first version of it. Second version was very shorter than the first one. So, that was match number... Is it 5? Yeah, 5. Match number 6, we got a triple threat match. This is for the European Championship. Matt Hardy defended the title against Christian and Eddie Guerrero on the Go Home show to SmackDown. Matt Hardy defeated, I think it was Eddie Guerrero for the European title, and this was Matt Hardy's first singles title victory in WWF. He's been in the company since 1998, 3 years. set up future title successes the next couple of years. You know, he went on to become the United States champion, ECW champion. Did he won? Yeah, cruiserweight champion. In 2003. And did he won the IC title? Not Jeff Hardy. Matt Hardy. Did he won the IC title belt? I don't think so. Anyway, so yeah, the match was a standard triple threat match. Nothing special. He had some funny spots. Yeah, lack of a build because it was added to the last minute. There was one spot. You had Eddie and Christian. They were heels. They were doing trying to do a tag team maneuver. Like one doing like a cross. You had I think it was Eddie grab Matt Hardy, put him on the top of his shoulders. Christian tried to do a crossbody, but Matt Hardy counted into a cradle. That was a good spot. I think he hit Christian with a DDT off the ring apron outside the ring. Yeah, like I said, it was nothing special. And this match is also overbooked. With you got Edge got involved. At this moment in time, the Radicals were officially no more. I think they were officially no more because I think it was officially broke up. I don't want to get into it. Anyway, so Edge got involved, hit Matt Hardy with the spear. Then Matt's brother Jeff appeared, hit the Swanton bomb while Christian was about to pin Matt Hardy. I think it was Eddie. No, I think it was Eddie Guerrero he was trying to pin. In the end, Matt hit the Twist of Fate onto Christian to win this match and retain the European title. Yeah, it was a bit overbooked, man. I don't want to get into it. It's kind of like brought down the final 3 matches of the show. So moving on to the main event, we got a tag team match. This is for the 3 major championships in the WWF. This is for the WWF, Intercontinental, and the Tag Team Championships. We got the Brothers of Destruction, the Tag Team Championships, Tag Team Champions. Sorry. That is Undertaker and Kane defending the belts against the 2-man power trip. That is the Intercontinental Champion Triple H and the World Wrestling Federation Champion Stone Cold Steve Austin. So, how we get there? So, at Mania 17 in the main event, Austin defeat The Rock for the WWF title and turn heel in the process, joining forces with the devil himself, Vince McMahon. The same Vince McMahon has been feuding with Austin in the late 90s, stopping Austin becoming the world champion. So, I forgot to talk about it in my review of WrestleMania 17. Like I said, go and check out because I covered that show a month ago. They did a rematch for the title. It was the Raw after Mania 17. It was a steel cage match. It was Austin versus The Rock. Triple H, helping Austin, retaining the title, hit Rock with the sledgehammer. That was set up, it set up the formation of the 2-man power trip because at the time, Austin and Triple H were blood feuds or blood rivals because Triple H is the mastermind, made Rikishi run down Steve Austin in 1999. This is months before Rikishi debuted for the company. Yeah, he was in the company before, but he was, he debuted as Rikishi in 2000. So, and it set up the formation of the 2-man power trip. So yeah, you had Austin being a bloodthirsty heel, beating down JR, beat down Taz, Michael Cole. You had Triple H winning the Intercontinental title from Chris Jericho. And they had this mini feud with the Hardys, beating down the Hardys and Lita. You had Jeff Hardy winning the Intercontinental title from Triple H. It was brief, set up their rivalry down the road in 2008. It's funny it's way better, because you had Matt winning a low card title and Jeff winning a major title. It's way better than what they did with the Outlaws, with Billy Gunn winning the Hardcore title and Road Dogg becoming the Intercontinental Champion. That's another story, another time, but anyway, so yeah, Triple H defeat Jeff Hardy, win the title back on the Raw after. So, you had the BOD, Brothers of Destruction, defeat Edge and Christian for the tag team titles on, I think it was on SmackDown. This was like weeks after WrestleMania 17, after Edge and Christian won the tag team titles from, Edge, the Dudleys and the Hardys at TLC2 at WrestleMania. So, the build up to this, you had the 2-man power trip not just beat down, beat down the Hardys and Lita. They also beaten down the Brothers of Destruction, Undertaker and Kane. You had the injured Kane's elbow in the process to get some heat. Really, the two-man power trip for me, very underrated tag team in my opinion. I compare it to Rated RKO, that will be in the mid to late 2000s. That's Randy Orton and Edge. That was in the Ruthless Aggression era. There's only two bloodthirsty heels tag teams in WWE history. Uh, that is the two-man power trip and Rated RKO. That's just that for me. Maybe the Shield, I could put it, they were bloodthirsty, but anyway, so yeah, the match itself, all the gold, was it all the gold, all the power, for the world title, the mid card title, that's the IC title, and also the tag team championships. You got Stephanie McMahon in the two-man power trip's corner. The match was good. You had, it was kind of back and forth between both tag teams, and afterwards, you had, Triple H and Austin, working on the injured elbow of Kane. Stephanie, people, it was overbooked, with Vince got involved and Stephanie got involved only a little bit. It didn't really hurt this match, She took the fucking bumps in this match, you had Earl Hebner pushing Stephanie out of the ring, and Triple H got pissed off because, Triple H's biggest feud in his career, it's not just with Rock, Austin, Shawn Michaels, probably Randy Orton, Batista. The list goes on and on. It has to be with Earl Hebner, the referee. You end up getting each other's faces, pushing each other. You don't see that in today's referees. Getting that authority. Pushing back the heels. Anyway, so and then she did get involved later on. She took a big boot by Kane. In the end, I think Triple H hits Kane with the sledgehammer. It was a referee bump. Yeah, Triple H hits Kane with the sledgehammer, pins Kane, and by the way, if Undertaker or Kane pin one of them, let me say if Undertaker pins Austin, he becomes the world champion. Kane will become the IC champion, or vice versa. Kane pins Austin, he becomes the world champion, and Undertaker becomes the IC champion. Triple H pins Kane. And him and Austin are the new tag team champions. And this was Austin's first, tag team title, first tag team title win since 1998, because it's not his first time, in the tag team division for Austin, because he was in the tag team title picture before. In 1997 he was he was tag team champions with Shawn Michaels, Dude Love, and The Undertaker in 1998's first tag team title win since 1998. And for Triple H, this is his first, I'm guessing this was Triple H's first tag team title victory. I think it's first of two, because he'll win another one in 2009 with Shawn Michaels against Jericho at TLC 2009. So it's good to see that, the two-man power trip won all the gold. They got the power now. Then the following week, the following month at Judgment Day, the power trip kind of broke up a bit. They really seasoned the crack in the armory of the two-man power trip, because at Judgment Day, they faced like the Brothers of Destruction in singles matches. You had Triple H versus Kane for the IC title. Austin faces The Undertaker for the WWF title. You had Kane defeat Triple H for the IC title after Austin fucked up, basically miscommunicate, costing Triple H the match. Triple H managed to help Austin with retaining the WWF title against The Undertaker. I think it was in the main event at Judgment Day. There was leading up to one final match between Austin and Triple H, led up to the explosion of the power trip, or instead, I think it was the Raw after Judgment Day. Triple H torn his quad it was a tag team title match on Raw between him and Austin, taking on Chris Benoit and Chris Jericho. Both Chris's won the tag team titles from the two-man power trip. And they went their separate ways. It's a damn shame. I think they did the reunion on a SmackDown in 2002, but as the one final match in the rivalry between Steve Austin and Triple H. It's a damn shame because they were teasing they're doing that because Triple H got hurt, and then I think they didn't do it in 2002 because Austin walked out of the company the following year. So it's a shame they never got that one final feud. It'd be really good to see, doing. And Triple H missed the whole invasion. It's a shame. That could really be a good match, probably at SummerSlam. Who knows? But it's just, it's timing because Triple H got hurt. It was just wrong place, wrong time. So yeah. So my final rating for Backlash 2001, I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10. In the bad has to be with the multiple time runnings in in the triple threat European title match, in Shane versus Big Show last man standing match, and also in the main event with Vince and Stephanie. But besides that, and also the only one match in the bad has to be the Duchess of Queensberry match between William Regal versus Chris Jericho. Besides that, most of them are in the good. The only thing in the okay has to be the triple European title match between Matt Hardy, Christian, and Eddie Guerrero. And by the way, I think this was Eddie Guerrero's last or second to last pay-per-view match for the company before he got released. Got fired for, was it DOI or drug possession? He came back in the following year in 2002 to kick off his successful second run with the company, becoming United States champion, tag team champion, and also the world championship in 2004 against Brock Lesnar and No Way Out. Besides that, there were a lot good. The opener, the 6-man tag team match was fun. The hardcore title match between Rhino and Raven was fun. The match of the night has to be the ultimate submission Iron Man match between Angle and Benoit. The last man standing match between Shane versus Big Show, and also the main event. It's still a good match. All the gold. The tag team match for all the gold. BOD Brothers Destruction versus the Power Trip. I think if you got the network, I suggest watching Backlash 2001. So that's my review of that show. Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Smash the like button and subscribe to the Central Mind Network on YouTube. Next up, we're building up to Backlash 2021. So let's traveling 4 years into the future. So last year I covered WrestleMania 21. So let's review Backlash 2005. Fuck it, see how it's good. Is it a good show? Is it a bad show? Or thumbs of the middle show? You have to wait and find out. So this is Essential Man officially signing out. Check you later.